I'm Dr. Shehan Pereira from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, University of Moratuwa, and also I'm the Director of DataSEARCH, that is Data Science, Engineering and Analytics Research Center at University of Moratuwa. I would like to warmly welcome all of you who have come here for this very exciting session on artificial intelligence and data analytics. And to do that, we do have a very experienced set of speakers, starting off with Professor Damminda Alahakoon, who is from Latrobe University. We have worked a lot with Professor Damminda, and he has a lot of experience working with the industry, using data science, artificial intelligence in industrial level projects. So our idea here is to get him to share some of his experiences so that we may be able to do the same in Sri Lanka with the industry and the university collaborating with each other. At the end, we will also have a small time where you would be able to ask some questions and any clarifications that you want. And also the people who are part of the data science center at University of Moratuwa will be in this t-shirt, except one or two. You can maybe at the end of the work session can meet and ask and talk. Right, so without going any further, let me introduce Professor Damminda Alahakoon, who is from Latrobe University, to continue this session from this point.
Right, thank you Shehan, and thank you all for being here after work. So you must be really keen on AI and data analytics. Well, it's a timely topic because I hear even politicians talking about AI, so it must be very popular in Sri Lanka. Well, it is important. So I'm the director of the Research Center for Data Analytics and Cognition at Latrobe University, and I have a team of people, several PhD candidates, and Dr. Daswin De Silva, who's a senior lecturer in the center with me. So we all came to Sri Lanka at the right time, so I thought it was a really good opportunity to talk about the work we do, our passion, our interest, and some very exciting work that we do with industry, not only within Australia but around the world as well. Because AI has come of age, and artificial intelligence it should be used. AI, what is AI? In my opinion, AI is the computing of the future. It's will become part of computing. Everybody will be using, already are, I think, into some extent, using artificial intelligence. So so each speaker will take, I'll do an introduction, the first part of it, and then hand over to Rashmika. That's the order in which we will talk, and I'll introduce the next speaker and so on. I will, of course, first introduce our research center and give you the background, the context, and our way of thinking about AI. Because it's important to understand and think of AI, because when you talk about AI, obviously many of you will think of machine learning algorithms and a data set, and you apply this data set, machine learning algorithm to the data set and get an outcome. So you have an outcome in mind, you want to get a better outcome, you use one of the available machine learning algorithms and so on. We try to think of using AI from a much more holistic perspective, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about and introduce in this first hopefully less than half an hour, so that I will then hand over to these clever young people who will then introduce or describe some of the projects in brief to give you an idea how AI has been used to provide practical benefits in a number of different domains. So before I move on, I'd like to introduce Latrobe University. It's the third largest university in Victoria, the state of Victoria in Australia, but it has the largest land size in any university in Australia. and we are making use of it at the moment. There's a $5 billion project going on to develop the Latrobe into a future smart city in the next 5 to 10 years. Very exciting time. There are hospitals, there are sports precincts, research precincts, accommodation, and a city center being built around Latrobe. So for us, the researchers in AI, it's a fantastic time, because just imagine a censored environment with all the data being collected so that we can trial the algorithms, new innovations that we build within our own university. So we call it the living lab. So we trial our algorithms within the university and identify the mature and techniques that can be then moved out into the next stage. So Latrobe is a reasonably large university. We have all these different faculties and a very, very large area, including even a wildlife sanctuary. And we, in Australia, of course, when you say Australia, Melbourne and New South Wales, I think it's not about AI that people think about these days. It's the fires. It's a really terrible thing. And it's unfortunate. It's not just Australia. It's a very dry country. And fires occur, but this time, and as predicted 10 years ago, the fires are much more serious, and obviously due to, obvious reasons. So we have to be very careful. We have to take care of the environment. So this is not only affecting Australia, but the whole world. So that's and you can see some of the figures there. The area that's being impacted by fire is very close to almost the total land size of Sri Lanka. So that's huge and still continuing. But coming back to our research center. So our research center, I'd like to say that it's a academic research center, a university research center with difference. So we do research, and I will talk about the core research that we do and the publications in the next couple of slides. But we also transform this research to technology, what we call the building blocks, because as academics, we are supposed to do research and then publish. And you can't stop there. You get published publications, and then we can look at our publication citations and this thing called H-index and so on, and be happy with it. But I think many of us want to go a step further, because why do you do what you do? We want to see the research we do making impact and do good to humanity, society, and the world. I think that's why we are researchers. So we transform this into technology, and then, of course, using this technology, then we can go to the next level of building collaborations. We've done that with other academics, with industry, government, and nationally and internationally as well. We also incorporate our findings in our teaching. So we have a very popular master's course, Master of Business Analytics, where more than 100 students, that now it's coming to about 200, but also recently we started a Bachelor of Business Analytics as well. But something else that is, that I must tell you is that our research center, all these guys and every member of our research center come from computer science and I guess engineering, computer science background. But our research center is physically positioned in the business school, Latrobe Business School, which is the largest school at Latrobe. Now, when we moved to Latrobe, we were given the option of sitting in computer science, engineering, or business school. And we took a decision to be in the business school. It's been an exciting journey, and I think it's been good. The reason is that, of course, we carry out hardcore computer science research, even science going even deeper from computer science, but the applications, at least I'm not sure about Sri Lanka, but the industry seemed to notice us better and more when we come from the business school. And also we see the other researchers working on real practical applications, so which gives benefit. And we have a really nice research lab So that's what it looks like from outside, and that's a little bit from inside. And we have our own dog as well. That's Maggie, who we few days a week. She sort of she's there. We help to socialize her as a dog to help the disabled and so on. So we have our own center dog as well. So moving on, the work that we've done. So we have our core research carried out for many years and independently adopted by really high-profile research institutes and organizations around the world. Now, none of these these are not our collaborations. We find this with research papers, or when we just Google when we don't have anything else to do, that we discover that algorithms, technology, and ideas that we've developed have been adopted by others, and that's a really good feeling, because it's not only you saying that, or us saying that our algorithms are really good, somebody else has independently picked it up and used it. And some of these institutes, like A-Star Academy Singapore, perhaps some of you know, is the government research center. And even University of Melbourne, they had used an algorithm that we developed to find, they claim to be a new type of leukemia. And many other institutions as well. And we do publish quite a lot, and in very high impact journals. And for those who are familiar with the journal impact factors, these are really good journals, and these are only in the last about 1.5 years. On the left side, you see, I would say, the different areas that these journals belong to. The reason for putting that in is to show that we publish in highly theoretical journals, as well as more application-oriented. And even domains, the last couple of years, we've done a lot of work in collaboration with clinicians, medical doctors, and healthcare workers, where our algorithms have helped to them to do their work better. For example, using social media to understand patients' requirements, needs, their deeper emotions much better. And industry partners, we work with very different range of different industries. At the top there, AGL Energy is the largest energy retail company in Australia. We've just completed the first project with them using some smart meter readings to profile consumers and load profiling. Now that's an exciting project, because AGL is a huge company and they have their own top-notch advanced analytics team. For them to come to us to work with, that shows that universities do have expertise that where even a large company with really big advanced analytics teams can benefit. There are niche companies, because analysts in a company, in industry, they have their job cut out, where we as academics have the luxury of doing research, identifying what is the latest cutting edge work going on around the world, read about these, read the new algorithms, and bring that in into and say which ones or which parts of these really give value. So that's where AGL and other organizations realize that working with a team, an academic team who can actually deliver value, can benefit them. So we not only have you worked with companies such as AGL, we just started the project with a startup company. That's another thing, because I think there's a lot of startups in Sri Lanka. Now, why and how would a startup work with a university? Because what with this startup, they were interested in a natural language processing project. Now, they had a big idea, but they had funding to hire 1 or perhaps 2 people. But when we looked at the idea, managed to convince them, they're not going to, even if they hire the top-notch natural language processing data scientist in the country, they're not going to get that job done. They needed a group of people, but they didn't need those people for a whole year or 2 to give them a contract. So that's where working with a team where if they have, the only thing is that they were a little doubtful. Can a university academics or PhD students or research assistants do this job? Then of course our past credentials, the fact that we've done work, we provided solutions, practical solutions to industry came into convince them that they should go with them, so with us. So we're just starting that project. Now Shiny Private Limited is a SME, a small and medium organization. So what I'm saying here is that from large organizations such as AGL to startups and medium-sized organizations where about 100 to 200 employees, we have carried out very useful and practical projects and produced practical usable solutions which are currently being used by these organizations. And then the government health, especially in the healthcare industry, government organizations, the Cancer Council, we are just Australia, Victoria, we are starting a project, Weak Roads, Northern and Australian Health, and Toyota. So sometimes these are just consultancies. So we do consultancies and charge a consultant's rate. And that's very important. It's not just about the money. Money is obviously always important, whether you're an academic or anywhere else. But it gives you a lot of confidence. And even when you go out and teach, we tell the students, I'm not only a lecturer teacher, we teach the real stuff. We actually, and the examples that we bring in are from projects that we carry out. That gives us the confidence to talk to the students and gives the students the confidence to say, this is real cutting edge, latest technology. And academic collaborations, we do collaborate with a number of institutions. With Sweden, we have a very strong collaboration with Sweden, Russian Academy of Sciences, and the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. That's the top-notch, that's I call the top-notch technological institution in Russia. And Tsinghua University is the top technological university in China. So these are very interesting, very exciting collaborations. That's another thing that I think Sri Lanka should do as well, because not Sri Lanka must do it. There's the universities, University of Moratuwa, University of Colombo, the computer science. Because we can pitch ourselves with these, the best in the world. Why do I say I'm very confident? Is that my team, and you will see several of my team here, they are Sri Lankans mostly. The force, the power behind the Research Center for Data Analytics and Cognition comes from Sri Lankan PhD students. And if they can go to Australia and pitch themselves with MIPT, Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology, Tsinghua University, the best in China, then they can do it from here as well, right? They should be doing it from here. So although I've been accused by some people as taking our best students out, which I guess I have. A couple of gold medalists from Moratuwa have worked with me, one here will be talking to you next. But we do work very closely with Sri Lanka. And if it cannot be done in Sri Lanka, it's better do just outside, but still work with Sri Lanka. And hopefully now, because I'm here as part of collaboration with the DataSEARCH Research Center at University of Moratuwa. I've been collaborating with University of Moratuwa for the last 20 years, and we are formalizing that. We can work together much more in a better, more formally in the future as well. Research funding. So these projects have brought in a reasonable amount of research funding in the last couple of years. So the Corporate Research Center is a government-funded research initiative where industry provides the requirements and government provides funding, government and industry provides funding. We got about $2 million of funding for this. Is a defense and national security project. We worked with the bushfire and natural hazards, CRC. So these corporate research centers identify key areas that are important for the country and provide big funding with industry chipping in. When you say chip in, they are not just donating money. They are providing the requirements and work closely with industry, with universities and government to really harness the value of academia to generate value. So we, as I said, work with, as consultants, and then the Latrobe internal, that's what I said about the living lab concept. So, what is the difference? Why do I say that we are a research center with a difference, or is that we do our research, even our research, and some of our teaching in an agile style, as scrums. So even in our teaching and in our research projects, so the research projects PhD 3 to 4 years, but still you don't wait for 3 years. Very few industry or real practitioners can afford to wait 3 years to get an outcome. Okay. So that's why even our PhDs, of course there is an underlying theoretical, conceptual development theme that goes on across for 3, 4, and in most cases, when they finish their PhDs, they hand over the baton to the next PhD, because it's a never-ending thing. That's their core, the theoretical aspects of their PhDs. But there are deliverables, 3 to 6 months. And that's how we then collaborate with industry. So something that that's advantageous is that PhD scholarships are not that high, but it still gives us, with a reasonable amount of funding, we can still work with industry. But the other aspect is that PhD students graduate with a solid number of quite a number of solid experience in working with real projects. Because what can happen, I think this is a doubt or a problem that many top undergraduates have in going